Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to class. Class today is taking place in a car with a special guest.
Hello.
His name is Tom Rooney. If you don't know Tom Rooney, you might have seen him in Stratford occasionally. Does a lot of work in Toronto, mostly theater, but in recent years, Tom has been doing quite a lot of film and television. And so I thought, since we're trapped in this car driving from North Bay to Toronto, that why not interview him and ask him his ideas of what is the difference between theater and film and television. Okay, Tom.
Hi.
We're actually rolling this time.
Okay. We're actually rolling this time.
Yeah.
Because we're professionals. The difference between TV and film and theater, huh?
Yes.
Well, theater, I'm going to say all the obvious things. First of all, I don't know. And also, the obvious thing is the speed, right? The speed at which it all happens.
What do you mean?
Rarely do you get any kind of rehearsal.
Right.
Except on the day.
Right.
And even then, it's like 5 minutes. Mostly it's rehearsing for the camera, not actually rehearsing for the actors or for the story.
That's true.
Blocking is what they call rehearsals, which is basically for the camera and the camera team. So that's a big difference. And
so what does that, just on that note, what does that tell us a little bit about performance? What your performance has to be in the audition, even?
Yeah, you have to bring your performance with you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You have to kind of know what you're doing and what your character's doing. You have to have made some choices, and maybe made multiple choices on each line. Have different versions for each scene, maybe in your head, that you want to think about, and at the same time be flexible enough. That's the thing. That's the main thing for me. You get your part, you get a job, and you look at the scene, and you imagine how it's going to be. You kind of work it out in your head, and then you get to set, and it's nothing like what you imagine.
Yes.
And it never ever is what you imagine it's going to be. And so you really do have to. And there's a lot of waiting. Everyone says there's a lot of waiting around, and it's true. And and they may, like yesterday morning, we got called in. We weren't supposed to be called until noon. We got a call at 9 o'clock saying that we were the next scene up in the morning. So we had to scramble to get ready and get there. So you are always having to adjust your expectations and be ready to go with the flow and kind of give over to the whole machine, because it's going to do what it's got to do, and you're just usually quite a small cog in a very, very big wheel.
Yes, like we were supposed to drive home at 11 o'clock today, but then suddenly it switched to 8 a.m.
8 a.m. So it's in some ways it's a good way. It's a good means of practicing just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Because really, there's nothing else. There's nothing you can do about it anyway. What else? I would also say, as someone who does a lot of sort of day player, 1 or 2 or 3 days on things, I get very anxious. Because there's a lot of unknowns, right? At least in rehearsals, in theater, you get a chance to meet people, and you get to start working together, and then by week 2 or week 3, you're like, everybody knows each other, and you're all working to build this thing together. With TV and film, you may be, if you're playing a day player, if you get a day here or a day there in the various episodes, you just get dropped into this whole community that's already happening, and they've already got all the crew. Maybe some of the lead actors have all got a relationship already, and you're the new guy, basically. And you've got to just kind of like show up and act. So I find it very nerve-wracking. However, having said that, after a year and a half or so of doing it, I am learning to relax a little bit and just sort of go with the flow. Go with the flow. That's what I would say.
Neil called us, well, not me, but he called under fives. Have you heard that expression before?
No, I haven't.
I'd never heard that expression before, and I thought that was a very interesting, it must be an American expression for people who are under 5 on the call sheet.
Yeah, so like number 1 is the star, number 2 is the blah, blah.
co-star usually.
Yeah.
Or number one can sometimes be the most famous person.
Yes. I'm usually number 1,489, generally speaking.
Yeah, depending on how high up on the call sheet you are, depends your level of importance on the set.
Yes.
Usually.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. What's your number on this one?
What am I on this one? 8, I think.
8?
Yeah.
You're number 8?
So I'm 3 away. So all I have to do is kill like 2 more people. I mean,
you
2
could
people,
kill
not
me.
2 more
I'm
people.
number 3.
I would never kill you. You're number 3, yeah.
I know. I'm number 3. I'm shocked.
You've got power.
I have so much power.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stop asking you to get my coffee for you.
Don't always get your coffee, Tom Rooney. Okay. So, so what else is different?
What else is different?
You talked about being able to show up and just do your bit, and I think that's a really important thing to know. I talked to this group about story and really having no control over the story.
Yeah.
None. Even if you get up to 1 and 2, you may have more connection to the writers or the director or the showrunner or the editors.
Yeah.
You may have a direct pipeline to them, but still, you don't control the way it gets cut together.
No.
Because,
not at all.
and you have no idea ultimately what it's going to look like.
Right.
And you can either get freaked out about that, or you can allow it to free you from the responsibility that you have in theater of telling the story from beginning to end.
Yes, that's very true.
Which is a big responsibility if you're if you're a lead if you're Cyrano, for example.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
It's a big responsibility to keep the story chugging along.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Having said that, for me, I have to, just for my own comfort, I have to be incredibly, as prepared as I possibly can be. Know the story that's in the script as well as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And know my scenes as best I can because of my own sort of anxiety.
Right.
And I know that on the day there's going to be some nerves. So as long as I really, really have to. You basically have to go through. For me, I have to go through the entire rehearsal process before I get to set. So that.
Do you hire people to help you?
Sometimes I might hire a coach or something like that, but not very often. I should probably. But so at least I'll know something, and then when I get to set, you just kind of give it up as well. But it's also good to come, as I said before, come with various choices and different ideas of how you might want to play the scene, and then in each take, and sometimes you only get, depending on what the show is, you might only get 2 or maybe 3, if you're lucky, 4 takes.
Yeah.